This is the Townsend Finance Committee meeting for Thursday, April 4th. And we'll call the meeting to order at 4:04 p.m. As we are doing a remote meeting today due to the weather, all votes will be, and attendance will be by roll call. So if you would identify yourself, please.
Geraldine Bazikas.
Andrea Wood.
Josh Levitt.
And Don Hayes. With that, we have 4 members present, and we do have a quorum, so we can continue. This meeting is being recorded for playback on Channel 9 and on the YouTube channel also. Okay, item 4 in the preliminaries, additions or deletions. At this point, I don't have anything to add or delete from the agenda. Is there anything else anybody would like to have added?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
I don't know. Are we going to continue any of the discussion on the facilities budget?
Okay. So that would, we can
I
discuss.
figured that would come under one that you have there, but I didn't know if you had planned on that particular discussion.
We can, facilities does have the 2 open that we reserve fund requests. So under item 2, we can review the reserve fund request. I did not specifically list it there, but those are open under the reserve fund transfer requests.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that being said, we'll move into the working session, and the first item there is the reserve fund request, reserve fund transfer requests. Okay, so we had last meeting we had approved 2, and I signed those out of session and submitted them to the town accountant or assistant accountant last week. So we had two more on hold from there. Do you want me to bring up the Excel spreadsheet with the dollars and the requests that we had to this point?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
At least it gives us something if we need to look at the forms. I will see if I have copies of them open, and I probably don't. Okay. All right.
Well, one of the problems with the reserve fund is that it's not to supplement the budget.
Absolutely.
But actually, every one of his is a supplement to the budget. It's not, they're not emergencies, not in any sense. He ran out of money. His department is totally underfunded, which is something the selectmen talked about at their Tuesday meeting. It's been very difficult for them to gear what he should have. And they've been working on it, and in the future, we can expect this to be better, I guess. Now, if we want to release him the money, that's fine. But for future time, we should remember that it's not a budget supplement. It's for an emergency that you have, that ends your funds or spends all your your cash and you need money to finish off the project or to put some money back into your account.
Right. And it's, but if a budget is underfunded because we did not anticipate these types of failures, and
Then you
needing,
can take it from municipal transfer.
but if we did that, would be taking that line and going negative, to that point.
Well,
And-
yeah, the thing is that now that he has whatever little money he has left,
Right.
he
don't
can
think I'm on
spend that
the
and that's it until municipal
No.
transfers come in. Now, making an exception this year for him, I have no problem with that. But
on screen. You
I-
can't. Pull it.
Okay.
I worry about the impact that this might have for the future on our thinking.
Um, yeah, I guess I understand it. I would like to see the bigger budget, a bigger budgeted number, so we're not doing this. And again, that's why we didn't just do all four. So the idea was to leave us a bit of room in the reserve fund for anything that would come up between, or pretty much for the month of April. When we made this, it was March 26th, so we were coming close to the weekend. And so I think by putting a little money in there for failures that were not anticipated, we did okay. But you're right, it's kind of like not every piece and every budget is going to be falling into this. I mean, not every case is eligible for that. So clearly, we're trying to.
Well, in his case, every repair he has, I should think, would be unanticipated. An emergency on his part, I think, would be like if we had, oh, God forbid, earthquake,
Mhm.
and he had to do pinnings to the under, the buildings or something
Yeah,
like that,
Right. Yeah. So if we had the kind of natural disaster that they had
Yeah.
in Taiwan, where the buildings were collapsing and we had emergency money needed to spend and do that.
Yeah.
And so I guess we'll take a look in the FY25 budget and see if they've increased year over year his professional services line, so that we can anticipate. We hope that the amount they would put in there is enough to cover failures like this.
Well, I got the impression at the selectmen's meeting that they are now coming to realize that he's under budgeted, underfunded,
Mm-hmm.
but they're having trouble anticipating the amount to rectify that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So maybe, okay, then, and we really haven't had many for facilities. So doing an average or anything isn't going to help. But if we use this past year as the example, well, I say that, and then the safety repair for the elevator last year
Right.
was
Well,
there.
and
So
then you would assume too that all the buildings for which he's responsible will
Mhm.
be a year older, and therefore that a year more needy of some kind of maintenance.
right. Yep. So we can maybe at least as a number take this year's transfers, last year's transfers, and come up with a number that his professional services line should be increased as a starting point. So if we just look at the forward, I'm just going to highlight them. And so that's a 24,000. If we go and add the 8,000 from last year for the elevator, we're looking at 30,000. So that would be at least a $15,000 increase year over year. Going into FY25, if we can support that kind of number.
Right.
Yeah, and again, that's just some spitball numbers in 5 minutes here. So we'll take a look. We'll watch. I suspect it sounds like Eric will be coming up with a new version of the omnibus budget then that includes that and an increase to that line.
I hope so.
Yeah. No, understood. I think that reviewing the activity and then taking what's hopefully a preventive action next year by increasing that line, we do a better job at not having to use a reserve fund to take things that just happen to break in a year. So rather than on his professional services, rather than just doing everything he's got contracts for and using that dollar value, then we take it and increase it and add a little bit of additional in there for those repairs.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, and then it's kind of like as we look at the other buildings, I don't know. It's kind of like because we have maintenance and repair in the other facilities like police department and fire department. But if we had money in here, then Rob would be able to maybe use that to repair the other buildings.
There was one other thing that I didn't exactly understand. Is that last year, I guess, the fire department kicked $15,000 into this budget for their repair and maintenance. And then this year, or maybe it was the year before they kicked it, this year Joe said that they've been doing the maintenance themselves and they want that $15,000 to come out of the budget. The selectmen made no decision on the thing. They just talked about it. So
Okay.
I don't know what's happening there. But you should be aware that that's in the move.
Okay, that's okay. So when we get to the omnibus budget, we'll take a look at the maintenance lines for both police and fire and see if we can see anything
Okay, thank you.
for that. Okay, just make a note of that. Okay, then. So again, we with what we did, we approved again the sewer pump failure. We needed to pay for that, and we replenished the money for making sure that waste was treated properly and exited from the town hall, and the boiler provided heat for the library. So those were the two that we approved. We put hold on the other two for facilities. We did get another brand new one this week that came into the inbox, and I assigned the reserve fund 007 to it. There was litigation, and we, in our insurance policy, for that, we have a $10,000 deductible for litigation. So we have a $10,000 invoice that came to the town for the litigation for that item.
Why would that come from this budget, not from legal?
Um, or insurances at that. I don't think there was,
Okay.
let me see whether,
I was hanging on the word
yeah.
litigation. That was
Yeah, right, yes, yes, agreed. But it's something that, yeah, so I suppose if we had it there, that'd be a place for it, but because it's in the insurances, that's where the request has come to put it back.
okay.
So let me,
Did they have somebody go out or something? Or I don't understand that either.
um,
I don't know why.
um,
Why it should
I'm
be.
not exactly sure of the case, that it was, but there was, um, oh, um, um, a claim filed against the town, and when it it was resolved by the insurance company, there was litigation, between the party and the insurance company, and we have that
But does,
$10,000 deductible in the policy, so we have been submitted the bill for the $10,000.
but does it belong to facilities?
No, no, no.
No.
This is selectmen.
It's in select. Okay,
Yeah.
I see it now.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So get it a little further out. Yeah. So this is selectmen, and so
Okay.
this, but the selectmen have been submitted for it. And maybe that's another piece is that I should put the account that they're going to. So, this is going to the general property liability line, which did not have any additional, room in there, for the budget. Let me just get another file open as I usually do. Get the, let's see if we can find the BVA. Um,
Mm.
move the screen. Okay. BVA. Okay. Close that window. Um, so right now, the general property and liability count is, and they may have paid it already because I'm seeing it's running $12,000, 12,350 negative as of the last.
Hmm.
Um, and they may have actually, I thought they were waiting for us because, to do it. But at the invoice they gave us was already in the overdue. It was in the 31 to 60 days. So, they were definitely looking at it. And this line has nothing more to give. So they're looking for a reserve fund transfer for $10,000 to pay the invoice for, from,
But did you say they needed 12?
no, right now, they need, the request is 10 and the invoice is 10.
Okay.
And the present balance in the account is negative 12,357.
Oh. Okay.
I think that's where the 12,000 came from.
Right.
So, yeah, so if, and again, put it on hold. I'm going to flip back to the request log. So right now, our balance is 26,400, which is, and if this were approved, it's a nice, easy number. It'll take it to 16,400. I have not heard from any of the department heads that they're getting ready to submit a transfer request. So this may or may not be the last one, but again, we're now approaching three and a half weeks till we can start hitting the municipal transfer request window. And this, there was action that Eric was going to take with this. He is talking about a warrant article to go on to the special town meeting warrant that will create a line that puts puts an account out there that will be for use for deductibles on insurance policies. So again, getting to that corrective action.
That's a good idea. However,
yeah,
if it goes to town meeting on the warrant, it can also be voted down. And then where are you?
Then we're back to this same point. You're right. It can be voted down, but
well, I was afraid that if you put it on as an article,
yep,
that it would erase your ability to go back to this to pay it the other way. That's all.
It would not preclude us from if we vote it down and we don't have a separate account to draw from going forward. We have only the two. We would have to add it into the budget as a line in the budget and prepare it every year. But the idea is to have one account. If we had a deductible for this, there was another deductible last year for vehicle accident, if I recall. So we have little experience, a bit of experience in the last 2 years. And with the background into it, we may be creating this, and this may be a good year to put some seed money into an account like this. Once we get free cash certified, because we did have the sale of those properties last year, or in this fiscal year, last calendar year. So in November, we had the auction and we sold 3. So we're expecting that when we get to certified free cash, there will be available funds.
Good.
Not that we, again, this is a start for trying to be more proactive rather than reactive. We don't want to wait for something like this every year. We don't want to have 2 claims like this that we have to try to plan for. So we will be a little bit conservative in the amount that's requested for the deductibles for insurance policy. So sorry, a lot of question, a lot of rambling. Are there any additional questions on what the request for the reserve fund transfer is for?
No questions for me, Don. Thanks.
Okay. Did everybody see the 2 files that I did that were related to this request?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So tried to the best we could, since we're not in town hall, to do this. Are we ready for a motion to either approve or vote on this request for transfer from the reserve fund?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready, yeah.
okay, so I guess I need it in form of a motion from someone?
I move to grant the selectmen the $10,000 deductible for litigation.
I'll second
Okay.
that.
Yep, that's good. Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? None being heard. Roll call vote to approve the reserve fund transfer of $10,000 to the general liability fund.
Gerald Mazeikis, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Josh Levitt, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes. We have motion passes, so we will change this to approve. I will get to town hall and do it. And again, we're with 26 days to go. We are at $16,000. So we are trying to be as cautious as we can and continue to hold, because this is the time where budgets may be running out and doing it. So thank you. I'll sign that at town hall tomorrow and get it processed for them, and then save that. Well, we here. Do that. Okay, so that is done. We have that saved. Okay, sorry, get back to the agenda. Thank you. Oh, okay, I missed that, the budget. My apologies, I didn't notice that was still on the agenda. So we had the budget summit, and I'll just touch on it. We had the budget summit on Saturday, March 9th, where we had all the departments heads in, and we were able to ask the questions. So just touching on item 2. Item 3, in the work session, the omnibus budget for FY25. And I know it was rather quick. I forwarded out the April 2nd budget that was prepared by Eric and brought it out and submitted. Do we want to go through and review any budgets and look for questions, or do we want to hold until we have a larger finance committee crew and do it? Our next meeting is the 9th, so that would be Tuesday night at 6 that we have.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it, but I didn't really have anything specific jump out at me. I mean, I know it looks like you put a little bit more math behind it with your
Yes.
column L, but
Yeah.
nothing really jumped out at me that I had any real specific questions.
Okay, and again, it may get modified again for the facilities budget. Let me while we're here, let's take a look at fire. Just to, because that was one of the things that we had looked at. In the expenses would be the repair and maintenance for building. And so,
Are we taking that out of his budget?
well, I guess that's going to have to be the question. If we're taking repair and maintenance out of fire, it's 14,280, keeping it where it is. And if we look at police, they have maintenance and fire too, and they have 20,000. So if that is all moving, then those two items can move to facilities, and they would not be individual in each department. And facilities would take it, but I guess those are the questions.
Do the other buildings, do they have their own facilities, or they use raw?
They have their own facilities that they maintain. So they do many of the same things, but when we look at what we had for fire requests earlier this year, they submitted a request for elevator repair. So that they are doing their own. It appears as though they're doing their own maintenance and cleaning and repair, and keeping it separate from facilities. But if that's an item that they want to bring under Rob and have him do repair and maintenance for everything, then
Well, how
it'd be,
do the individual people feel about it, as far as Rob or the chief? What do they want?
yeah, I don't know. That was the first time that I heard that. I thought that the two chiefs were have been budgeting for a few years. We can see that even as far back as FY22, we had lines in the budgets, and it appeared they were responsible for maintaining their own building.
Their whole building, or just part of it, or what?
So
So does that mean you have to go there?
my
or
understanding-
what does it mean?
sorry, my understanding was that it's full. It's everything. They set up their cleaning. They set up the pest control. They set up everything. And again, they call for elevator maintenance and validation, just like Rob does. So it appeared as though where they were standalone buildings, they were responsible for it, which is different than the library and other buildings that Rob maintains.
Formed, the police department was part of it with the original buildings that were covered
Mm-hmm.
by maintenance.
Right.
So if they've switched off, that's fine, but I know, I mean, I've heard at least that maintenance has gone there a couple times. Either they use them and pay them,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't use them at all. One or the other. It can't be.
Can't have both.
Right. You can't. Yeah. You can't. You can't ask facilities to come in and do work that wasn't planned for in their budget.
In their budget,
whether
yeah,
whether it's manpower, or some other, whether it's a professional service that gets signed for them. So I think
Have
that's
the
gonna.
selectmen,
I'm sorry,
have the
you're breaking.
selectmen and Rob and the chiefs, have they sat down and talked this over?
It doesn't
Those are
sound
the
like
three that need
they.
to look it over.
Right. It's kind of like they need all four in. Yeah, the four. The facilities had the two chiefs and board of selectmen and town administrator need to sit down and be clear on what's being done
What is being done
in each line.
done, right? Because it's
Yep.
better both ways. You can have it all the way, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep. No, same. And I think there may be some other peripheral stuff like that too that has to be managed.
Right.
So,
Whatever.
yeah, I was going to say, what I had done out here is I had a copy of the March 6th budget, and I was just bringing in the information to see, is it different now than it was before, and that stuff. So it's kind of like, this was just a way to look in and see what's changed. If it's helpful to people to see what's changed, I can take these pieces and send them out to everybody. Just so you have it, I'll make sure. And I will also come back up to the top, because this is one of the places that we have. When we look at it, line 15 in the budget, the professional services for the webmaster.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. That's new, yeah.
Well, when I look at this, I'm just gonna
Isn't that,
this is now,
Harrison?
well, this is now really outsourced. So when I
Yeah,
look
it's
at it,
Harrison,
yeah, it's his company. Yep. So
right.
when I
Mhm.
look at it, I've tried to highlight what I see is that, oops, sorry, kind of like, I'm just gonna, let's copy this and put it down. Put webmaster, and then I'll highlight it. So, and then webmaster. So what I've highlighted is what I see it in the past years up through FY24. This was a stipend and in wages. So I didn't think it was, as much as it's the same lot in the same work, it was not an expense in those years. It was wages.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, I think
Because-
the situation changed is what happened, I think.
Right, now the situation changed, but we can still do the percentage. It's just a different line.
Right,
And we can say that the percentage change is the 4%, but it's based on this line because
Correct.
we've moved it, and we would have a line that had a note that said move to expenses, and a line here, moved from wages, so that you can see the difference back and forth. I was just
Okay.
looking at it because we have the same thing when it comes to building commissioner, or because that is approaching it the same way, and it was putting it all in expenses now, when it's always been wages prior, because
it's because, at least on the building inspector,
mhm,
we hired, or the selectmen hired a company, and the person who will be our building inspector works under them, just comes to us when we need them. That's
Mhm.
why it's not salary
Right.
as such. We pay an amount to that company,
right. Yep.
so it's not a salary.
Yeah, let's see. Just
And on the webmaster thing, I don't know,
Yep.
but I assume there's some extra money in there, because now that we don't have a webmaster, they have a temporary webmaster.
mhm,
It's Veronica Kell filling that position.
Yep.
And I assume she's not doing it for free. Why should she? She's
mhm.
being paid because we would pay anybody else for it.
I thought this new person coming in was taking place of Veronica.
The, okay,
Am I
so
when they
Um,
come in.
Okay, so
I don't,
what we have is last year at town meeting, we approved an article to revamp the website and move away from Civic Plus. So with that, right now, the outside company, Harrison's team, is working with the new website people and the hosting to make sure that's ready to be up and running. Veronica has taken the Civic Plus, which is the one we have today, and is going to continue to just maintain that until
Yeah.
the new one's ready for release. And I believe they were hoping for June 1st go live.
okay.
The date may be wrong, but that's so what we have is we have to maintain what we have while developing the new
Mhm.
one. And so they've split it out that rather than have somebody temporary working with the company, the webmaster that will manage it going forward is working with that team. And if they have any expenses associated with it, I would expect that it's going to come from the cost that that was in there to revamp the website, because there were hours associated with that.
All right,
So
okay.
but again, that
I'm good.
building commissioner and is pretty much the same. When we look at the line, there is no the salaries are all low because there's no building inspector line and salary for the years that we had it as a wage position.
Hmm.
So again,
So when
yeah. You know,
So
and
they're
again,
not putting
we're-
it, the building as a wage, what are they putting it down as?
well, they've moved it into the expenses.
All right.
You know, so when you look at the total, when you look at the bottom line, the numbers are going to be the same. It's just
Okay,
you know, so the bottom line 404 is the same, but it doesn't show that we went from a pay position and a benefited position to the building commissioner. So you don't get it. To me, at least my impression of it is, I'm not getting that good view of we had a position where we were paying a salary plus benefits, and now we're just hiring out, and so it's expenses. And overall, the budget actually benefits by not having to pay health insurance and other insurances. And
all right.
so it may get straightened out, but I think it's just clearer. And we've done that very similarly in other places where we had a deputy chief in the fire department, in the police department for a while, and then moved that to a lieutenant position, I believe. And we showed the line for the deputy chief so that we could see where the money moved in the budget year over year. If anybody was looking at it in town meeting, there wouldn't necessarily be a question if anybody looked at it that closely.
All right.
So anyway, that's me, I guess. It kind of, I don't know if anybody else had again, when
Well,
we
as
look
long
at
as it's, but
yeah,
I think it all makes sense to me. It's just moving it out of one bucket into the other. So
yeah, exactly. But when you look at it and have it there, if there's any reporting and anybody questions, we don't pay taxes on the expenses that when we have the contracts with the outside people, but we were paying income taxes and taxes, and unemployment would be based for a person on that salary. So I'm just looking at it as a the budget is what it is. This is just an Excel spreadsheet. And we would have it there, but we just want to make sure that, it's going in, it reports into the right bucket when, as far as if we're looking at salaries and things when we're doing it and moving it around. If we go and hire a building inspector, then it would move from this line up.
Mhm.
And I guess if we take that to the accountant, that's the same thing. We have a line in the expenses for the outside town accountant that we hire.
Mhm.
And we have lines for the salaries for the people we have doing the accounting in the building.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not a big thing. It's kind of, it's, just a little piece of,
It's informational.
yeah, it's information. And again, I have it hidden here. There is a notes column here. And so when we do this, we will get, we'll have the note that identifies, that the line moved, it's kind of like,
Looks good now.
so, okay, sorry, it's kind of like, but again, this is just a working one. It's gonna go away. But so those, this, let's see, I'm just trying to take a look. So, the budget has been updated with, as a result of the special town meeting with the values that, Neshoba Tech and, North Middlesex, had requested at this point. So right now we're seeing the increases that, were passed on the special town meeting when, at the vote. Those Articles 2 and 4 both passed, and so those are the amounts in there. So we can see the changes. Right now, the reason why we're all sitting at home, we're going to see a change in highway to the snow and ice. That's gonna have to be updated. So we do have some changes coming, but just to highlight where we are and where we may see it. So again, it's kind of like I guess next meeting we'll start going through. Hopefully we're more closer to a finalized budget that we can start voting on the lines. Okay. I hadn't seen that. It looks like all the money for the pavement management is gone for next year. Trying to help. Okay.
Help
So-
fund school budget.
Yeah, could be. It could be in the other pieces. Somewhere else in the budget. I'll have to go now seeing this. I'll have to, I thought we had put money in there before. I did. Nope, it wasn't in March either. Okay. Okay, so don't know what that was, but we still want to see if we can get some money in pavement management so that we can continue to repair some roads. Okay, more questions. Kind of like, okay, now, next piece, when we talk about the budget and the omnibus, and I know there has been, I always keep talking about the pieces. I have filters on right now just to I sat down with Eric the other day, and I'm highlighting columns N through Q, and we can see that we have FY 26, 27, 28, and 29 here. And so we're working on this, and I will work with Eric to, in addition to this, preparing the FY 25 budget, see if we can come out and have this 5-year plan, and especially how it will work as we bring more of the ARPA funded positions and lines into the budget, and see if we can fold it and manage to absorb the additional money into the budget without having to look for an override or any other issues related to that. But just so you know, it's working, and we do have it. And my idea that I pushed with Eric was we should have it in place for whoever may be the town administrator in the future. And so he was good with that. So it is working. I know we've talked about it. And so there is action on that front. Nothing huge, but we're, it's a start on it, and we'll keep going. Any questions on the FY 25 or what we're planning for the 5-year omnibus?
No questions.
Okay. None
I
being
have
heard.
one.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep, that's okay.
How far are we from a balanced budget?
I have not seen the revenue to go with this yet. And so I'll speak with Eric and see if we can get the revenue estimates in here. I don't know, balanced budget wise. There is, in my mind, until we pass an override at a ballot, I can't say that we would be able to balance a budget. So we can.
Yes, I can see that.
But I think what we can do is have the discussion about making the assumption that the override passes, and do we have a balanced budget with these numbers in here?
Mm-hmm.
So prepare the numbers as if we're going to have that additional revenue for the override. So I'll speak to Eric and see and make sure we don't come up with numbers that he's not agreeing with for the revenue.
Great.
And because that's a piece of it. That's been his target, to balance it, and that's why he didn't bring all of the ARPA things in and try to bring it in. He was bringing in pieces of it and still trying to balance the budget. So I'm sure that that's what this is, but we need to see the revenue part. The only other pieces he had provided on a second sheet is just the summaries by the groupings in the budget.
Now, the selectmen at their meeting, he said that there were still some departments or some items that were out. And one of the ones that he mentioned, or two of the ones he mentioned, were insurance and health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
In what we have here this time,
Yeah.
are those
we have
care
numbers we have numbers with increases. Actually, I will tell you there's also one more number that has to come in. So everything is the other number that has to come in for FY25 will be the trash pickup and the
that's
show.
right, yeah.
So that's being worked right now by Board of Health, that contract. And so,
Did they go up last year, or haven't they gone up for a couple of years?
they have been going up year over year based on the contract. So I'm highlighting line budget number 569, solid waste, the curbside pickup and transportation.
Oh, yeah.
That better? A little blown up.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so we are in FY24 in the third year of the contract paying $755,000 and change for
Right.
curbside pickup.
Okay,
So far, what we have is a guess that it's going to go up about 9%, and so there's an increase to 825,000 in there right now. So this is a holding point until we actually have a budget or a contract presented and signed. So, and when I'm gonna get down to the insurances. Unemployment, health insurance. And so when we look at health insurance, line 771 in the budget, he's put in an amount of for an increase, let's call it 10%. And the other one was the liability. And right now he's put in a 7.3% increase from 331 to the 355. So it's their estimates, and they're above the numbers that we were trying to keep the rest of it to they were trying to level fund expenses, but when you start talking insurances, generally you're not going to get level funding.
Well, especially not in the present economy. They have costs rising as well.
True.
As everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I mean, there's been some hopefully reasonable increases adjusted in here to try to predict where the numbers are. But if we don't have the solid quotes from the insurance companies, we're still a bit, we're holding on to that to try to get it. But there's some, again, decent placeholders in there for the insurances. And overall, line 794 on the insurance total, it's an increase of 107, let's call it $180,000 at 7.8%. So it's like everything else, until you get the bill, you don't know for sure, but those are the numbers. And as we get closer, we'll watch them and see if we can firm them up to a real number.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll continue to watch that. So and then I guess I want to sit down with Katie Kasanjian and and see if we can get the revolving fund. We talked about being able to analyze the revolving funds and see that we put the right number in the warrant for the town meeting. So we'll do that upcoming. Okay, so any other questions with lines that may be temporary out? I'll see if I can identify those lines also and just mark them as not 100% confirmed on the amounts that are in there.
How
So that we
much
can-
did he anticipate healthcare would go up?
I think that was the 9%. Let me scroll back up.
That's what
there.
I thought. That's what I remembered, but I thought, I'd hoped maybe it had gone down.
Yeah, so he's got it at 9.9%. And again, if we take the number of people that are getting it and reduce it by the building inspector, there's one less person that we're providing insurance for, so that combination of people either coming on or dropping off. We did.
Well, but you have some ARPA people that will be coming under it.
My understanding from them is
If we
from
take
Eric,
them on as full-time employees, they will.
well, they were already on as full-time employees, so we were
Not
paying
the-
for.
Not the two under the selectmen. We only put in
Okay,
$10,000. Yeah.
Okay, so when those come in, then we also have to absorb the health insurance.
Unless they get it, they could take their spouse's insurance or whatever
Right.
too.
Yep.
Before
Yep.
that up.
Those are definitely options available for people. So we'll look at it in a piece as we look at insurance is how many people are we insuring and how many are we anticipating insuring next year? Is that increase because we're taking additional people on, or is it all increase over just simple increase year-over-year increase of the cost of the insurance?
Good.
So
Thank you.
okay. Okay, sorry. So no. Are we ready to move on in the agenda?
I think so.
Okay. I was going to say, I saw this: review any new correspondence received in the mailbox. There was nothing new in the mailbox at Town Hall. However, I did receive an email that is out there. It's an invitation to the groundbreaking for the new engineering wing at Neshoba Valley Tech on April 12th. Let me. So it was sent to. So this is the formal invitation. If we have people that want to go, I think
What day is that? What day is that?
It's,
The 12th?
I thought it was the 12th that let me.
The Friday.
Yeah.
And at what time and where? It doesn't. I don't see it.
Well, I was going to say I'm not April 12th groundbreaking, but oh, here it is. No, it's just in the header. Kind of. So I would probably expect 9 in the morning or so.
Okay.
It's
Is it an RSVP?
it's an
It is an
RSVP, so if you want to go, I'd say 10 a.m. Here we go. It's kind of like, I don't know if you can see it now. There was an attached brochure.
All right.
So it's April 12th. If you want to go, send it back and coordinate it through Eric Slagle, and we'll let him send the town information.
Okay.
But
Very good.
Friday, April 12th at 10 a.m.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So that's the only one that was new, and I think, it's an opportunity for us to get out and be seen by the schools as they're doing the work and expanding. And
I probably
Maybe
will
I'll-
go.
maybe I'll go back out there. They're finally, when I was going to college, that's the location where my electronics classes were. So
Oh, nice.
that's if we're having a new building, maybe I'll go back to school.
That's a good reason to go.
Yeah. See what's new in electronic.
That's right.
New and exciting. Yeah. Like I had anything to do with electronics the last few years. It's kind of like it's all been business systems and spreadsheets. Okay. I had a placeholder for new business. I didn't have anything in there, so we can skip by new business unless somebody else has new business they want to add or have a subject added to the agenda for next week. Okay. Nothing being heard. Our next meeting is April 9th at 6 p.m. And then the next one we have scheduled after that is April 18th. I know we're getting close, so I guess the questions are going to be and I'll have it at the next meeting. Do we want to schedule additional meetings to make sure we get through? Because in addition to the omnibus budget, we have the warrant articles to go through and vote on and make our recommendations. So we may be getting to that point that we need a couple of additional meetings to make sure we hit all our targets. So,
Yeah. It does matter. I'm on vacation next.
yeah, you
next
would
week.
say, yeah, April 9th, you're on
Yeah.
vacation, so we'll keep that
April
in mind.
9th, 4 o'clock meeting.
April 9th is a 6 o'clock. It's Tuesday, so we go back to the 6 o'clock. There is the one following that on the 18th is a Thursday, so that's when we do the 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. That's
Well, are the warrant articles all set? Are they done?
I have not seen the warrant articles. The warrant for the annual town meeting should be closed. They have just, as of last Tuesday, so it's 2 nights ago, they should have opened the warrant for the special town meeting that is held within the annual.
Mhm.
And those warrant articles are going to close on the 16th. So it's more than likely we wouldn't see them until the week of the 24th.
The selectmen have the power to change articles on the warrant up until the time, by vote, up until the time that it's posted. So,
Okay, yeah.
you know, they're probably still working, even though it's closed for new submission.
Mm-hmm.
You can submit an article, and if the selectmen decide that it's worthy or necessary or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they have the power to put it on the warrant. Even though it's
Okay.
closed.
Right. And other than that, they would put it on the special.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So both of them are still open. We don't have them to look at yet. So, like I say, I think we're looking it, especially for the special town meeting. We're probably looking at the last 7 days of April before we see it.
Well, it depends. I don't know how much before the meeting the warrants actually have to be posted. I believe the special has to be posted at a different time than does the
Yeah.
other one.
Okay. I thought it was 14 days before.
It could well be. I just
Yeah.
don't hold that in my memory.
Yeah, I'm trying to, it was, they have to, because the special warrant, the special town meeting that we did for the 19th had to be posted by the 4th.
Okay.
So that would be the 2 week. Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll keep playing that by ear and see when the work actually hits our desk and we have to work on it and vote. So we'll continue. As I said, next week, April 9th is our next meeting. So last little, anybody have any other comments or thoughts that we should bring up at the next meeting? I think I already asked that under new business. Sorry. With that, I don't have anything else. Are there any other questions? I know we went through the agenda in order, but is there anything that we missed that you have a question about? Nothing being heard. Yes, I'm ready to hear a motion to adjourn at 5:15 p.m.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. And any further discussion? None being heard, a roll call vote.
Geraldine Mazekas, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Josh Levitt, yes.
Don Hayes, yes. Unanimous. We stand adjourned.